All right.
Let's start with D-Rock and then move to John Shipley.
Afternoon, Doug. Can we just get injury update on Evan, Tank, Gabe, Cisco, and maybe Anton too, if there's something with Anton?
Yeah. So Evan, obviously, as you know, prior to pregame warmups, he's out there running around, getting himself loose for the game, and obviously felt something, in his hamstring, and so it was significant enough to keep him out and hold him out of the football game yesterday. We'll see where he is this week. Optimistic, but we just got to see. Hamstrings can be funny. So it's kind of a week to week deal right now with him. All the other guys, Tank actually, just he got hit on his shoulder on the kickoff return. Had a little bit of a shoulder injury there. Took him in, did some X-rays on him. Everything was good. Got him back, kind of loosened up, and was sort of available, in the second half of the football game yesterday. Gabe just landed on his shoulder on the sideline there late in the game. He's fine. Anton is fine. And was there one more that you asked me about?
Cisco, I think.
Cisco's okay. He's fine.
What can you do to jumpstart this offense? Is it as simple as simplifying it even more, changing, I don't know, the way you approach the game plan, or what can you do to kind of jumpstart this group?
Yeah, that's something we got to look at, these next couple of days. I think it starts in practice. I think we can do some things differently in practice and how we, attack that, each period in practice. That's one. Obviously the game plan is the game plan. You can simplify as much as you want, but it doesn't change the fact that you gotta start fast, right? I mean, that just goes without saying. And it just has to be an awareness, just a sense of urgency by everybody, the entire football team, really. When we head into these games, but I think we can maybe mix some things up and just a little more attention to detail in practice as we go each week.
And I know the ball goes where the open guy is, but are you a little surprised that Christian has not been more involved at this point?
Well, as you know, the ball goes where it goes.
Mhm.
And there were opportunities, but the ball was going somewhere else in the progression. So, we're going to continue to find ways to get Christian the football, and he'll be a big part of the offense.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah.
John Shipley, then Gene.
Doug, can you talk a little bit about the decision to have Mason inactive yesterday and maybe what he needs to do, what has to happen moving forward for that to change?
Say that again. The first part was kind of low volume.
My bad. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to have Mason inactive yesterday and what kind of needs to happen for him for that to change moving forward?
Yeah, you got 53 players each week, and I get a chance to select the 48, and obviously I, visit with the defensive staff, and it kind of goes too off of the prior week. So it's not necessarily what Mason did. I think guys like Big O and Jeremiah also had good weeks of preparation and practice, and it's just an opportunity for Mason to learn and put himself in a position this week to try to be elevated. So it was nothing that he didn't do. I just think it was the fact that Jeremiah and Big O had opportunities to be up this week.
Stuff.
We'll go to Gene, then to Gary.
Hey, Doug. The players in the locker room often talk about how together and bonded they are, and the chemistry is there, regardless of whether it's adversity or things are going well. How much do you think that will serve them well as they, deal with this early season adversity of just not playing up to par?
I think it's everything. The fact that they are, and listen, Gene, we've had many guys in here today already, and they've come up and talked to the coaches and wanted to sit down and go through the tape and they're on board. I mean, it's they understand. I mean, they understand they have to play better. We have to coach better. It's a group effort. It's no particular one person or one position group or one side of the ball. I think there's obviously enough mistakes to fix, enough things we can get better at. But the fact that the players are united and locked in and focused that way is a good sign.
As a follow-up, could you talk about the performance of your secondary yesterday, missing all the pieces they were missing, but seemed to hold up pretty well?
I'll tell you, the secondary has been really a bright spot. I mean, I know we had some mishaps, week one in Miami and things of that nature. But I thought Buster played an excellent football game yesterday. You saw DeAndre Prince come in and make a play on Amari Cooper. I mean, their best receiver, and just they continue to gain confidence the more they're out there. We still have some communication things we got to clean up, and some leverage things, but that's been a bright spot for us.
One last thing, if I may, do you feel like communication is the biggest, or miscommunication is the biggest issue with this offense right now? Because it was mentioned quite a bit in the locker room yesterday.
I do. It's one aspect. I mean, listen, there's a lot of things that have to go on, and there's a lot of talking that goes on for each individual play, and we missed some things in the run game, we missed some things in protection, but all things are very fixable and correctable, and but yes, that is definitely something we've got to correct.
Thanks.
Bet.
Gary, followed by Mia.
Yeah, Doug, yesterday you were asked about your confidence in the offensive line, and you gave a brief but positive answer that you did. Can you elaborate on why you have as much confidence as you do in the offensive line?
Yeah, I guess I would need from you. I would need what do you mean? Is there something that specifically stands out to you, or to
Well,
me?
the protection issues, for instance, on the safety, Ezra and Cam got split on that side. It just looks like there's some guys are kind of last 2 weeks are running free. There's a couple of instances of, and again, it goes back to miscommunication possibly, but why do you have confidence in this offensive line right now that they can get better?
Well, I think that's the number one thing. I think the confidence is still there. That's the thing, and I think the communication is probably the biggest issue. Some of the hits yesterday was the fact that whether it was Trevor or Mitch, I mean, these are things we gotta fix. Making protection calls and letting guys free, and then the one on the safety is just a matter of just execution down there. It wasn't necessarily a communication issue, and then just having a sense of awareness, because if we pick up that defensive tackle right there, there's a big play to Brian Thomas. So those are all things that we've got to fix. And then even in the run game, this is probably going to be the fastest sort of downhill linebacker group we may see all season. And these guys really attacked the line of scrimmage, and there were some good things, some good positive things, some good, nice, runs that were in there. And then there were some ones that we failed to execute on. So, confidence is still high, and it's going to remain high. And, we just continue to gel these five guys together.
Thank you, Doug.
Mia, followed by Hayes.
Hey, Doug, certainly Trevor didn't mince words at the podium yesterday. I'm just curious, the fire you've seen from him in the last 24 hours or so, how do you react to that as a head coach?
When you say fire, what do you talk about?
He stood at the podium and said, "We suck right now," and did not mince words. And certainly, he was very forward, very poignant, talked about accountability and saying to guys, "Hey, if I'm calling you out, if you can't handle the heat, kind of get out of the street."
That's what you want from your leader. I don't want anybody to sugarcoat anything. I think that's stuff that gets swept under the rug is what kind of gets you beat. We've got to keep everything in the forefront. We got to keep it in the front of our minds, and listen, he's he's the franchise, right? He's the starting quarterback, and he's the one back there with the football making the decision. So I appreciate the fact that he's taking that role and that lead, and it may not be in his nature to do it, but you know what? He's got to do it, and I'm excited for that. And I think the players will respond. I mean, they're going to support him 100 times over, and if they're not, and I think it's a two-way street. Me, I think it's the players will hold him accountable too, and I think it's a two-way street. So I can appreciate that from him.
And just curious, have you felt that sort of fire from him away from the podium, that he has been much more deliberate in his conversations and his words?
Yeah, I think that's part of the maturity, growing up in this league, and listen, he's a competitor and he wants to win, and we all want to win, and sometimes you have to be assertive, in your leadership, and it's good to see.
Hayes followed by Jamal.
Hey Doug, being 1-7 in your last 8 games, have you ever gone through a stretch like that? And how do you not let it affect your confidence?
Well, I hadn't thought about it until you said it. So, yeah, you know what? I don't let it affect me. I just know it's a business that it's a 1 week, it's a week to week business. We've talked about this a lot, and I got to thing for me too is, yes, we got to correct the negative and the things that are going wrong, but I also got to look at the positive and what's being put out there. And I think it's a different ball game in Miami, as you guys know. If we don't fumble, on the 2-yard line, and I think this week, if we get a chance to score and not kick that field goal there, we take the lead and potentially win yesterday's game despite the mistake. So it's a little bit of a fine line. I understand that, but we are where we are right now, as you mentioned, 1-7, and it's something that we just got to focus on Buffalo this week.
And then how did you think Brenton Strange played for you?
I thought he played really good. Played tough, played physical, made some great catches. Somebody that we knew, he had it in him. We've seen it in practice, and it was good for him to show up yesterday with Evan's absence.
Cool, thank you.
You bet.
Jamal.
Hey Doug, when you got a team that's kind of looking for a spark, can Monday Night Football primetime game be the spark that you're kind of looking for? Do you guys get up a little different for those kind of games?
Oh, they definitely get up for Monday night. You're prime time. You're the only game on around the league, and everybody's watching. So it's a great opportunity for us to go on the road, play a good Bills football team, obviously, and they've had some rest now, with their Thursday night game with Miami, and but yeah, it's definitely a great opportunity for our guys to kind of get fired up and look forward to playing.
And you've been with this group for a little while now. Is it frustrating when this team seems to play their best football when their back's against the wall? Like at some point, do you want them to put that foot forward before they get in the corner?
You definitely, you definitely want them to start the game faster, start the second half faster, and not wait, not wait 2.5 quarters to kind of get fired up. But again, that's something we gotta focus on and talk about it and really talk about it internally, I think, and see what we can do to, jump start and spark the team.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
This will be the last one. Travis.
Hey, Coach. Could you touch on the impact of losing Ingram during the pregame, and did that have any significant impacts as far as the play calls were concerned or the offensive performance coming out?
Obviously, when you lose a player like Evan, it can definitely take it can take a little wind out of your sail, just a little bit. He's a leader. He's obviously a starter. He's a captain. I mean, it's a big loss. But that's the thing. We could have lost him in pregame. We could have lost him the first play of the game, and you got to continue to play. So we can't let things like that affect us. We definitely hate it and don't like it for Evan, obviously. And now we got to see moving forward where he's at. But it's always been a next man up mentality, and that's something that we continue to preach, and you know, we're going to continue to keep that rolling. And you know, if we bring somebody up, you know, Josiah or Sean off the practice squad this week, if that's the case, then we got to get them ready to go. So you know, it'll always be the next man up, and but as far as the game yesterday, I don't think it necessarily affected us as much. Maybe a little more big nickel or three safety type. You know, the Browns could have presented with Evan on the field, you know, with two tight ends. But other than that, it didn't really affect us too much.
Gotcha. And also, as far as the red zones were concerned, you guys had 2 opportunities, first and goal from the 2-yard line, and both times came away with field goals. I know that's been kind of an ongoing thing as far as trying to get the red zone right. What were your takeaways from that?
Yeah, that was frustrating. You know, we came out, ran the ball, I think with a 2-yard loss right there. Then we line up in empty, and we had an opportunity to you know, I think score even on the empty play, and we didn't capitalize there, and then ultimately the third down play, the Browns, you know, covered us up pretty good, so we settled for the 3. And then, you know, the other one, you look at that one, and you know, we had the illegal shift. Can't happen. We got to make sure everybody's set on the touchdown there. Even then, we had a chance, I think prior to that, or no, I think after that, had a chance to run the ball in, got us down to, or maybe it was play before, I can't remember now, but got to like the 2-yard line. So the opportunities are there. We just are making a few mistakes. And as we know in this league, you got to score touchdowns, especially when you get inside the 10.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
That's everyone. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.